into the tug itself. Okay, you'll put your shaft through there, and when you want to release it, you can come up and just pull the tug strap. Okay, they're becoming pretty popular. Okay, now we have the back, the back strap. Okay, we're going to do the crupper. Now the crupper, I don't like my crupper too tight on a horse. I need them, to have freedom of motion in the back to relax the backs. And the way you'll do that is just make sure you take your traces off the back here, okay? Now this here is really excessive. I generally like to put a hand in here. If I can get a hand in here, that's fine. If it's too much, okay, it's going to create a gap here. It's not going to be fitted correctly. So what you want to do with this one is shorten it a little bit. People ask, where should the buckle be? The buckle doesn't really matter where the buckle should be, because with different harnesses, they'll position the buckles in different places. There's no real place where this buckle should be. It should be off the horse's back. Okay, you'll see how it's off the horse's back here, but there's still room for me to get my hand in under here. Okay, so there's bounce. You want to create bounce in this. Okay, now we have two straps here. We have the hip strap and the loin strap. Okay, the loin strap's called a loin strap because it's over the loin of the horse. The hip strap is over the hip of the horse, so we call that a hip strap. Okay, a lot of times you'll have, these straps will either be one strap and you won't have an adjustment, or the two straps will be connected together and then split here. Okay, now the way you adjust this harness, I like, this is the breeching. Okay, I like my breeching at a little angle, from going down to up, going forward to the horse. Okay, we got this ring here, the breeching ring. Okay, I want that in the crook of this horse's stifle here. Okay, that's where I want it. Okay, over the horse's hip, the leading hip strap here, will go forward at the hip of the horse, and it will sort of hold that strap forward. Okay, so I want the hip strap there. If it's too low, too low, it's going to be below the point of the stifle here. So we want it up. You don't want it up too high either. Okay, that it's going to create such a steep angle with the breeching. Sort of get it straight, but what I generally do, okay, is between the two straps, I'll have the rear strap, the loin strap, one hole longer than the hip strap. Okay, so that's how I generally do it. So there we have the strap there. Now, height of the breeching. We've already discussed that we should have the breeching at an angle, okay? And the reason for that is when the horse sits in the harness, okay, it creates downward pressure already. Okay, as he's sitting down, it's pushing back on the horse, okay, and pushing down so he can sit on it. It acts like a brace for him. If it was level, okay, you wouldn't get that. Okay, he's not going to be able to push back, and what's going to happen is it's going to slowly start to rise. The more he pushes back, the higher it's going to get. It's going to rise up until eventually it'll come underneath the horse's tail. And if it does that, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay, so get the breeching, okay, in this crook of the stifle, okay, and along the back here at just a little bit of an angle, so when he sits into it, it forces the breeching down rather than up, and he can sit in it. Okay, so there we have how to adjust the harness to your horse. We're going to put reins on. Now when you're buying a harness, okay, buy the best quality harness you can afford. Okay, not the most expensive, the best quality. Okay, contact, there's many chat boards online, or different harness shops and friends. Ask them what kind of harness they have. Ask trainers. I strongly believe that people should take driving lessons, not driving lessons, even before they own a horse. Okay, go and take driving lessons. Learn how to drive. Okay, be shown all this stuff, and then go out and buy a horse, and a carriage. Don't do it beforehand. Okay, there's too many people out there that will buy a carriage, buy a horse, put it together. It doesn't go well. They have an accident. The next thing you know, they either don't want lessons or too afraid to take lessons, so they give it up. Take lessons first. You'll always revert back to taking lessons anyway. So take your lessons first, then buy your horse, buy your carriage, buy your harness, and have a fun time at it. Okay, I'm going to put the bridle on the horse. What I'll do, if you want to come closer, I'll show you, where the bridle should go on the horse's head. Okay, obviously on his head, but Now we have throat latch. Throat latch should be the first thing that's always done up on the horse. Okay. The way I do a throat latch is I get my fist. I make sure I can put a fist in underneath the throat latch. Okay. When a horse flexes, okay, it becomes on the bit, he's going to drop his head. And this throat latch here will often, cut off his breathing on a lot of horses if they really, get under the bridle and onto the bit. So you don't want the throat latch to be too tight. Okay. The noseband, people ask me how tight should the noseband be. If you've got a horse that plays with his mouth and stuff like that, then the noseband should be as tight to keep the horse's mouth shut. That's what it's there for. Okay. If you can afford your horse, to have a little bit room in his mouth, if he's not playing with his mouth or he doesn't like to play with his tongue, you can leave the noseband a little looser. Okay. Now we're going to put reins on. Now blinkers. Okay, these are called blinkers, not winkers. And not blinders. Blinders is a type of horse. Okay. With the blinkers, okay, they should be open enough that the horse can see, out a little bit, okay. But the eye should be in the center of the cup of the blinker, okay. If it's too low, what happens is the horse will be able to see up, okay. And when you have your whip up or your hand up, generally with a carriage you're sitting higher above the horse will actually be able to, point his vision backwards at you and actually see some of your actions. Okay, so if he gets nervous and sees, you get into trouble and sees the whip moving around, that he can, respond to that. Okay, you don't want it too low. Okay, but you want the cup of the blinker to be in the, the eye to be in the center of the cup of the blinker. Okay, so that's him from there. What we're going to do, we have two carriages. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to put, and adjust the carriage to each, fitting here, so we can work with, two different vehicles.